on, swashbucklers, for I've got a tale that'll make your timbers shiver and your hearts race with the thrill of the open sea. 'Twas an early time in our voyages, when the Scarlet Sabre was undercrewed and in dire straits. Her remaining crew at the time, a handful of loyal Vixel and some various others, were weary and her sails tattered from battles fought and treasures won. In those perilous days, we found ourselves adrift and looking for a port to recrew and repair. Yet all we found was a scant village, its people on the brink of starvation, clinging to hope, like sailors to a splintered mast. And 'twas there that fate dealt us a hand that would alter the course of their and our destiny. We were skulking through the treacherous coast of the Vixen Isles, where the water's as temperamental as a scorned lover and the land's overrun with thorny jungles teeming with all manner of wicked beast. The few remaining crew were obviously on edge, and I, Captain Renard, could feel the unease in their bones, like a storm brewing in the distance. 'Twas then that we chanced upon a small coastal village nestled in a cove that otherwise seemed untouched by the chaos of the world beyond. The villagers, a humble lot of Ranu, were in dire straits. Their stores were dwindling, their deep-sea nets coming back empty, and the forest had grown too perilous to forage in. As we approached this dilapidated seaweed fishing village, the scent of desperation hung in the salty thick air. Mingled with that awful stench of decay, the huts, once sturdy and snug, now sagged under the weight of neglect. Their thatched roofs barely providing any shelter from the unrelenting elements. These Ranu, a people usually known for their resilience, appeared to have been worn down by circumstance beyond their control. Though they still put on a proud foot, it were clear their antler heads drooped with weariness, and the flicker of hope that once lit their eyes had been extinguished by the relentless challenges they faced. Children, their laughter replaced with a haunting silence, roamed the village with sunken eyes and hollow cheeks. Their tiny frames, swathed in threadbare rags that offered little protection from the biting coastal winds. The women, their faces entrenched with lines of worry, toiled ceaselessly to rake out a living from the unforgiving sea, while the men returned from each fruitless seaweed gathering expedition with empty nets and broken spirits. The communal fire pit, once the heart of the village, now lay cold and deserted, a poignant symbol to the unity that had been fractured by the cruel hand of destitution. Aye, these Ranu folk were a peculiar lot. Not like me, a Vixel who could feast on any catch I hauled from the deep briny. No, these poor souls, they couldn't stomach the fish that teemed in their waters, and they relied on some blasted special seagrass dragged up from the depths below, scooped up in these big hooked nets they called their own. Aye, not just any blade of seaweed would do for their bellies, neither. They had a taste for the finest seagrass, the kind that required a proper technique to snare. In this desolate enclave, the very essence of the Ranu's way of life was under siege, as if nature itself had conspired to consign them to a fate of perpetual struggle. The village stood as a testament to the unyielding spirit, a spirit that had weathered many storms, but now seemed to be poised on the precipice of surrender. And as we sailed slowly into port, our mast casting long shadows over the desolate landscape, a collective sigh of the Ranu settlers seemed to echo through the village, carrying with it that haunting lament for the life they once knew, and a life that now seemed to slip further from their grasp with each passing day. Yet there was a sense of determination amongst them, a resolve to endure despite the relentless challenges that sought to erode their way of life. A tenacity that resonated with me, a pirate who had faced his fair share of adversity on the open sea. Now even a pirate's heart can be moved by the plight of innocence, and so I decided to lend me hand. With me crew at me side, I declared, "We'll not let this village succumb to the whims of fate. We'll find a way to bring back the bounty of the sea and mend the tattered sails of hope for this place." The villagers, initially wary of a sudden arrival, slowly emerged from their homes, their eyes a mix of skepticism and cautious optimism. I extended an offer to the village elder, a weathered Ranu with wisdom etched through the lines of his face, proposed a partnership that could benefit us both. I looked at the weary old Ranu and spoke plain. I will welcome a good number of your finest sailors aboard, and set sail to them fathomless deeps where the sea's secrets are tucked away, concealed from prying eyes above, but in exchange for this bold venture, we'll be needing your skilled hands to patch our tattered vessel, and men ye can spare to crew it, for the path ahead promises naught but treacherous waters and formidable challenges. The Ranu elder, after a moment of contemplation that seemed to stretch into eternity, finally nodded in agreement, his antlers casting long solemn shadows on the weathered ground. With a renewed sense of purpose, the villagers, initially cautious and wary, gradually rallied together, spurred by a glimmer of hope and the promise of a shared future. They scoured the coastline for every bit of salvageable driftwood, their calloused hands expertly repairing the worn sails and meticulously caulking the weather-beaten hull. It was as if the very spirit of resilience itself had taken form with these determined souls, their actions speaking volumes about the unyielding strength of their tight-knit community. And as they toiled, their resolve unwavering, my crew found themselves stirred by the unwavering dedication and determination that mirrored in their own. Volunteers from the resilient Ranu community, my crew and I set out once more into the dark, mysterious abyss, our path illuminated by the soft, reassuring glow of lanterns, generously provided by the villagers. The humble lights transformed into beacons of hope, piercing through the enveloping darkness of the night as we ventured forth into our daring quest to provide much-needed aid to the beguiled Ranu villagers in their desperate time of need. Our voyage led us out to the elusive, fathomless depths, where the ocean concealed its deepest mysteries, shrouded in darkness and mystery. The journey itself was a relentless struggle, the unyielding waves relentlessly assaulting the resilient hull of our vessel. Yet, bolstered by the indispensable guidance of the wisdom of the Ranu, we skillfully navigated through the treacherous waters, skillfully evading the concealed dangers and the unforeseen perils that lay in wait beneath the surface. Amidst the turbulent backdrop, we cast our nets and lines into the enigmatic abyss, each action triggered with an eager anticipation, a shared yearning for a bountiful catch that held the promise of revitalizing the desolate village and breathing new life into its weary inhabitants. Hours passed. The night wrapped around us like a shroud, and despair threatened to claw in its way back to our hearts. Our nets, though cast with hope, returned with meager offerings, and we thought the sea had forsaken us. But that's when fortune in its own peculiar way favored us. Amidst the modest bounty, an unexpected glimmer caught our eye, a flicker of light that danced playfully amongst the waves. It was not Miriana, for her name was not yet to grace our ears, as this was long afore we ever crossed paths with the elusive mermaid. Instead, it were a radiant presence of a different kind, an ethereal being that seemed to embody the very essence of the sea itself. With a mesmerizing gaze and an aura of ancient wisdom, this mystical entity beckoned us towards a hidden cove, a sanctuary veiled in the secrets of the deep, a place known only to those who dared to embrace the mysteries of the open ocean. Now, I've laid eyes on many a marvel that would make even the hardiest sailor question their sanity. Yet, never before had I felt such a profound sense of benevolence and compassion encompassed within a single entity. I couldn't help but believe, without rhyme or reason, that this being was a spirit of good fortune that had chosen to grace us with its presence. As this sense of reassurance settled over us, we let the guidance of this otherworldly aura steer the Scarlet Saber through treacherous waters and concealed passageways, venturing deeper into the heart of these isles than any ship had dared to venture before. In that concealed cove, we unearthed wonders that surpassed our wildest imaginations. Shoals of fish swimming in mesmerizing patterns, their scales gleaming with iridescence under the gentle play of light, while clams lay heaped up on the seabed, their precious pearls glistening like treasures in the deep. It was as if the ocean itself had laid out a feast fit for kings, presenting us with a bounty of food, and it included those variations of seaweed as sweet as nectar, enough to sustain the village for many moons to come, with ample sprouts to sow and cultivate more for their future. Yet the isles, filled with magic and mystery, demanded a price. As we prepared to depart, the sea stirred with ferocity as if awakened from a deep slumber. And then, rising from the turbulent waters, a monstrous tentacled beast emerged, its immense form eclipsing the sun. It was a primal terror, one that sent shivers down our spines. Each of its writhing tentacles was thicker than the mast of the scarlet saber as they thrashed through the air, and they created a deafening cacophony that shook the very timbers of our ship. The sight of its cold, unfeeling eyes sent a chill through me bones, for this was no mere beast of the deep, but a living force of destruction, and ancient and merciless as it were. But pirates are born for moments like these, and me crew wasted no time. They manned the cannons, their voices merging with the thunderous waves as we prepared for daunting tasks ahead. Mr. Sin barked orders with fiery determination, rallying the Ranu and our crew members to their posts, their eyes ablaze with a fierce determination to protect our vessel and their captain. The scarlet saber maneuvered with a grace that belied her size, darting and weaving through the tempestuous waters like a fox eluding a pack of hounds. Yet the kraken-like beast was relentless, its slimy appendages striking at the ship's hull, leaving deep gouges and splintering wood to its wake. The deck quaked beneath our feet, and the very air was thick with the scent of salt and impending doom. As the monster thrashed around us, a mysterious aura seemed to envelop our vessel, emanating a sense of otherworldly protection. It was as if the very ocean itself had risen to aid us in our battle, its currents guiding our every move, its whispers encouraging us to stand firm against this creature's onslaught. With every resounding note of this mystical entity's melody, the kraken ferociously began to wane, its thrashing growing weaker as if it were under the spell of an ancient charm. The clash between our ship and this colossal beast seemed to stretch on endlessly, the sound of cannon fire puncturing the chaotic symphony of the sea. Every well-aimed cannonball rattled at the kraken's monstrous form, and every nimble maneuver of the scarlet saber brought us one step closer to victory. Slowly but surely, the creature's once mighty resistance began to crumble, its formidable presence yielding to the relentless determination of our crew. Finally, as the last of its massive tentacles disappeared beneath the churning waves, the crew let out a triumphant roar that mingled with the crashing of the sea. We had emerged victorious, our ship battered but still afloat, our spirits tested but unbroken. And as we made our way back to the Ranu village, our stock still brimming, the Ranu sailors, now seasoned by the trials of the sea, chose to remain on board the Scarlet Saber with us. Their decision to stay with us was not one born of obligation now, but rather of a newfound kinship that had blossomed between our crew and the resilient community. Together, we had weathered the tempests and triumphed over the ocean's most formidable challenges, fostering a bond that surpassed the bounds of mere camaraderie. With each passing wave that carried us homeward, it became increasingly evident that our destinies were now intertwined, our fates woven together by the threads of shared determination and the unwavering spirit of solidarity. As the Scarlet Saber glided gracefully into the harbor, the villagers greeted us with open arms, their cheers a resounding chorus of gratitude and hope for the future that now lay before them and the one that laid before us. Aye, the memory of that cursed island still be haunting me dreams, where I once tamed the wild seas with a crew as fierce as the tempest itself, and where that enigmatic entity wielded charms as beguiling as the ocean's depths. But fear not, for when the moon hangs high, and the stars whisper of forgotten treasures, I'll weave ye a tale of dare and chase, of phantom stallion, and the unforgiving shores that tested even the bravest of buccaneers. So gather ye kin, show your appreciation with a like, and prepare to be swept away on a ride that'll take you through the perilous cliffs and uncharted territories. So may safe waters grace ye till we meet again for the telling of another grand adventure.